Welcome back to Shall We Proceed? This is an uncut, uncensored extra from an episode I had with Mr. Nick Bognar. He is a marriage and family therapist. Our interview happened earlier, I feel about a month ago. We had a conversation and we spoke for like an hour and a half, almost 2 hours, and I cut the interview down and posted the interview for about an hour long show because the tables were turned actually. Nick started asking me questions about myself and my career and my journey. And we had a real candid, uncut, not a debate, but a difference of opinions on some hot topics that may or may not rub some people the wrong way. Some people that may listen to it may think of me a little differently on my mindset. We discussed the Me Too. We discussed Bill Cosby, just an example of Bill Cosby, and sometimes the hastiness or the belief of accusations. And I voice my opinion, and it may or may not come across the right way. It may or may not be understood, but I always wanted to release this part of the interview as a separate interview, not to take away from highlighting Nick in the earlier part of the interview, but just to have this as this can stand alone by itself. So this is like 40 minutes of us just talking, him asking me questions, discussing, our viewpoint. And I said, it'd be a good time to release it. As all of you know, it's a judgment-free zone. You can come on my show and feel safe to discuss any point of view. And hopefully I have the same grace in return from the listeners and those that know me. So during this nice extra tidbit, you will listen to Nick ask me questions about my career path, why librarian, why podcasting, and then we get into our opinions on accusations and women and men in the life of certain accusations and in the life of what's going on, and my thoughts and my bias of it and how I feel about it. So hopefully you enjoy this little bonus extra uncut little interview that Nick kind of interviews me. We're having a nice conversation. So hopefully you'll like it. Let's enjoy this Nick Bognar uncut episode. Thank y'all.
For those of us who aren't experiencing an active fight for whether our rights will continue to be maintained in this country, to help somebody else too, right? Like if you need help, get help. And if you don't need help, then give help.
Oh, yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
So
that's it.
I want to be more elegant than that, but that's kind of the message right now.
That's amazing. It's good. It's all good. It's all good. You'll be better prepared next time.
Next time. Yeah, next time I'm going to run this thing. I'll just send you your line.
Like, ask me anything.
I would love that, man. I'll quiz you.
Okay.
No? Yeah? Mm-hmm. Okay. So tell me what drew you to library sciences, because I did not have this experience as a kid. Librarians were always really nice to me, and my sister was one for a long time. So I really like librarians. But you did not have good experiences with librarians and chose to become one. How did that happen for you?
I did not choose to become one. It
happened to you in a dream.
It happened to me. For growing up, I wanted to be a teacher. And then I got to high school and those kids were too bad. I was like, I can't do it. I will hurt somebody's child. Can't do it. Once I saw kids younger than me as mothers and fathers, like freshmen in high school, I said, I can't teach you. You're a whole grown-ass adult. I can't do it. So I have the utmost respect and love for educators because I know I cannot do it. Because I will curse somebody's child. I can't. I will be like, come get your child from my classroom right now because it's going to be Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And then I wanted to be an attorney, a lawyer. I wanted to do immigration law. And I wanted to do immigration law and thought about that. Graduated. I majored in history and sociology. took the LSAT and everything, and then I was already at my library working, loving it on another end of it, because the libraries are not set up where it's all just librarians who work there.
Right.
And my director, who I love, you have the power to, she has this great ability to pull out someone's talents, right?
Yeah.
And so I got promoted and I did what I had to do all that, and that happened. And so I used my vast people skills and management skills that I've had forever, and I help in many ways, and it's one of the most rewarding jobs I've ever had, and it's actually the most, it's so stress less compared to what I've done before in my life.
Right. Oh my God, you were almost an immigration attorney. Jesus Christ. Could you imagine the fucking stress you'd be under now?
The Lord knew.
Somebody was looking out for you.
Because I have friends who are attorneys and DAs, criminal, and I'm like, yeah. How do you take, how? And what I love about what I do is I also do the podcast at my job.
Oh.
Yeah, so I actually host the podcast at my job. We just started the podcast this year, and we were talking about it because we have a position called the Community Engagement Coordinator, and they try to engage the community. And she's trying to, and we started at the library, and to get the community more involved so they can know what's happening, and so they can understand local government and city council, all those things, and just get the community to talk about what they care about and engage them like what it is.
Yeah.
And so I was already podcasting, and I didn't tell anyone at work. Right. And she found out I was podcasting. I can't remember how she found out. And
she was web stalking you.
I think so. No, you know what it was? I never let anyone from work follow me on social media. I don't do that. Like, if we work together, you're not following me on social media. Right. And I had my podcast Instagram, and I think she found it, and she started following me, which was open. And so she's like, Erlene, your podcast? I'm like, mm-hmm. And I was already podcasting on another show where we're doing movies and TV, and I love that show. And I started my own independent podcast in April of last year.
How many podcasts are you a part of? I mean this in awe. This isn't criticism. This is awe.
Oh, I got a cramp. No, I'm not a lot. Intermission was already established. I was a co-host with that one. We did movies and TV. Love that show. I did that with 3 other guys and 2 other guys. It was really good. And we actually stopped doing that one in January because one of the gentlemen, he's a teacher, the other one's an entrepreneur, and it just got really hard, which is a good thing because movies shut down. So we really wouldn't be able to do a lot.
Challenges.
Right. And it was hard. So then I've always wanted to do something in a way of bringing back conversation to people and dialogue to people. And, I love good conversation. I don't like meaningless conversation. I don't really talk a lot. When I do, I like it to be meaningful conversation. Right. No judgment. You can talk to me. If you say it the wrong way, I'm not going to hold it against you. I understand, that kind of thing. I think we listen very defensively.
Like therapy.
Huh?
Like therapy.
Like therapy.
No small talk, no judgment. Yeah.
Right. Good. And so I started Shall You Proceed, and it was good. I had my boss on for one of the episodes, and I then started a little rant session, one that I have called Damn It, I Said What I Said. And then I had little rants. I haven't said anything on that one in a while. I have like 10 episodes on that one. And then just this year, I started Uncomfortable Truths.
Right.
That is much more it's uncomfortable because I have 4 episodes out right now on that one, where we did vulnerability, where a friend of mine who's a therapist interviewed me on vulnerability.
I love that one.
Everyone loves that.
It's great. That's why.
I need to take it down and burn it.
You had to take it down?
I know. I'm just
okay. I was gonna say, did I get in before the door slammed? That's awesome.
And then vulnerability, relationships. We did fear. And then this last one, another friend of mine who's a social worker, and he's an advocate for men for wellness and for adolescents. He interviewed me on broken relationships.
Nice.
And yeah, I said, I don't know why I keep agreeing to this, but I respect the two guys so much that I knew I can safely have that conversation with them.
Sure.
And my biggest thing with that particular show is, like I said, I am not an expert in any way, and I respect what you do, what my friends do, and I never want anything to come out like, Erlene said it, is no. This is my opinion. This is how I feel. This is my truth. Right. That one is my truth. And so that one's out right now, Broken Relationships, and someone was like, that was good. I'm like, that's just my truth, Yeah. We've always been raised just to be totally honest and speak your truth. We've never been muffled in our family. So my mom always wanted us to be very outspoken and experience things. And I've always been outspoken, being the youngest sibling and being muffled sometimes, yet when you say something, you have to say it. Yeah. So for me, I've always loved genuine communication and genuine entertainment. And I just feel that we have been so crippled by social media and crippled by technology that we no longer talk to each other. Mm-hmm. And so listening to podcasts and enjoying podcasts, the ones that I'm drawn to are the ones that have great conversation, great dialogue.
Right. Yeah.
And it's celebrity. Sure. It's not all the gossip talk. I mean, you need to have those things. There's a market for everything. But sure. What I enjoy is like, I'm hearing regular people have a conversation, even if it's celebrity, and they're brought down to just a regular type of person. I enjoy that. So that's what I wanted to have. That's why this is this. But with Shall You Proceed, with this one, I really wanted to highlight people in their great work. So I'm going to make this one more of a expertise. What are you doing? How can I help you? And with the other one, it's more of intimate topics that we try to run from. Like I'm going to record this Thursday with some guys who do a podcast on music. And I want to do the biases in entertainment and the art versus the artist. Like, and with that one, do we separate the art from the artist? You know what I mean?
Right. Hell of a question.
And, I think right now in society, we're at a point where we're all very bullied to think the same way. And you have to, quote unquote, like, cancel people.
Sure.
And just cancel everything about them and everything they've done, when I'm not going to do that.
Oh, you're not going to do that?
I'm not going to do that. Like,
Not even if I beg you to do that?
No, you can't. Now, if you want to run me some money, depending on how many zeros behind it, no. It's like, it's a little bit. But I just think sometimes we're at a point where we're so hasty it's gotten better. We're not as hasty to fire or cancel or get rid of people because of what they're doing before we figure out truth or non-truth. But also, I'm not going to take away the great work somebody may have done. Now, if their work was a direct link to some foolishness, that's different. But if, let's use the example of like Bill Cosby.
Right.
Bill Cosby and the Me Too movement, and him for something he did back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, right? 70s. But I'm not going to take away the Cosby Show. I'm not going to take away Different World or the other show Cosby's, or all the work him and Sidney Poitier did back in the 60s and 70s with their work, making movies, giving people of color jobs. I'm not going to take away his scholarship that he's given. I'm not going to take away those things because his productions employ people who look like me.
Right.
So, so he made mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
He did his thing. He's serving time for it.
Sure.
So now you have places who have taken his name off of buildings and stripped everything. And I say, well, give back the money also.
Mm.
If you don't want to be associated with the artist, then give back everything he's ever given you.
Okay.
They'll just take the name away and as off the buildings and all of that. So everybody who got a scholarship, I need that money back. The schools give the money back. You know what I mean? And I know that may be extreme, but what I'm saying is, so now you're tainting everything. So why would I want to say I went to school on a Bill Cosby scholarship when it's tainted so severely?
Well, I'm wondering, like, is that a thing where are they taking the name off the building to punish Cosby, or are they taking the name off the building to remove a reminder to somebody who was a rape victim that, like, to sort of take away this painful lionization of this person? You know, because for me, and maybe we don't agree on this, I see it as like a pendulum, right? Like for ages we canceled the victims, and then now we're headed, you know, the pendulum swung far, and it's like we're going to cancel anyone who is in a position of power and abuse it
across the board. You can't pick and choose who you punish and how you punish them, because we're in a country right now where we have rapists and enslavers whose names are on colleges on our money. We celebrate them. So are we going to eliminate that as well? So if you're going to eliminate,
a lot of people saying that we should.
Huh?
I mean, I'm from Richmond, Virginia, and they're tearing down those statues. I'm delighted about it. When I was a kid,
so if we're going to do
it, Monument Avenue,
So at one point, it was like when all that started happening, you didn't have that same. Let's do it across the board,
right?
You know what I mean?
Sure.
And so my thing is, but also, he has been convicted of whatever he did.
Mm-hmm.
But I also know that I grew up watching a show that gave me hope.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know all of those things. So I am not going to take away what that show gave me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm not going to turn my back on the art. The art, the work itself gave me a lot, gave me things that I can look back on, gave me hope for I can go to school and see people who look like me. So I'm not going to take that away from there. And they've added those back on. Like they gradually added it back on so you can watch them, but they took everything away. And we were so hasty at one point in this world of stripping everything away from someone. Like, and then people want to say, "Oh, I always knew, I'm not watching it." I don't care what you're doing. But my thing is this: why are we going to make other people feel bad who still want to be entertained by that? If they want to be entertained by that, you know what I mean? And my thing is this: if that's the case, and this is an example, and I agree with you, you know, you want the reminder. So everything Weinstein has produced and put money in, take all that shit down too.
I mean, I think people are advocating for that, are they not?
So it's like you have people strip Bill Cosby of everything, but Weinstein productions are still circulating. Take all that shit down too. You know what I mean? Take everything down. So let's be fair across the board of how we're going to do things.
Yeah,
it's happening now gradually, but it's like, you know, I'm that person. It's not happening fast enough. Come on, you know, you were quick to take care of that one. Let's take care of this one also.
Got it.
That's all.
That's the whole thing. That's the whole issue encapsulated in it.
I hope it makes sense what I'm saying, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think I understand where you're coming from. For me, it feels a little different because I have a little bit of, for me, my sympathies lie more with the notion that if I were, if somebody drugged me and raped me, or in Weinstein's case, if somebody cornered me in a hotel room and tried to rape me, and then people were talking about this guy like he was a mover and a shaker, that would really, really be a painful reminder for me that, if people were still lionizing that guy. But that being said, it's complicated because I enjoyed the Cosby Show as a kid, but the Cosby Show was not the thing that taught me that I could grow up and be a professional with a family in a brownstone in Brooklyn. I just was brought up believing that automatically because that's what the world had to tell me. So certainly it would be a really painful loss if something that was the one thing that made me feel equal in this world was tainted by something that felt like it wasn't being adjudicated fairly, like taken away from you and taken away from you in a racist way. I understand why that would hurt.
And that's what I'm thinking. I think sometimes there are instances where you have to separate the art from the artist.
Sure.
And I think if we look through everyone in art, in every area of artistry, we're going to find the dirty secret.
Sure. Well, okay, maybe, but are we going to find Weinstein dirty secrets? Like, I don't know that I 100% agree with you. I think there's a threshold, and it's not a hard line, but like, there's plenty of artists that we are never going to find Harvey Weinstein things. In fact,
Weinstein has some extreme shit going on.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
He got some extreme shit going on.
Certainly, absolutely. Why, you know, Louis C.K., Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, who else? Who else has been a perpetrator of this? I mean, who else has been canceled here? Aziz Ansari, right? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, and really, I think that's part of it. And this is another thing, is that I think that it's, I understand the grief over the loss of the art, and certainly I'm not in favor of anything that's being adjudicated, you know, with bias. But I also think it's good for us to know that we can't do that stuff anymore.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I think the message for a million years was like, you know what? If you're famous, you can just grab them by the pussy, right? And I think hopefully I mean, that's an obvious one that I missed, right? Fucking Donald Trump, right?
And nothing's happened to him.
Right.
So that's my frustration there. It's like, if we're going to be fair, let's be fair.
Right.
You can't pick and choose the fairness. And that's my thing.
I agree, but I don't think I don't think anybody that I care about is trying not to pick Donald Trump. It's like, fuck it, Cosby, you're going to prison. Donald, I know you were doing your best here. I know you just, you know, made some bad decisions, right? Like, I don't know anybody that I respect that doesn't hold those two things sort of in the same level of duplicity, right?
Mm-hmm. But my other thing is this, though. I'm really a level-headed thinker.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't press upon you my emotions and my hurt.
Okay.
So what I'm feeling, I will never push upon you to feel the same way I feel. And I think because I don't want to sway your judgment based off of my feelings. And what I mean by that is this. I think a lot of times we move very hastily when it comes to emotion. I'm not talking about women are right or wrong, and that's not what I'm saying.
Right.
Like, for me, when I hear these things happen and I hate it, but I'm also very aware I have not experienced something like that to that level. Mm-hmm. So I cannot be as enraged as you, but I'm here to help.
Okay.
And I think so many of us want to encompass someone's rage, and it's like, hold on, wait a second. That's why your friends can't be your therapist, because now they're mad with you. Now they're diabolical when you're now coming down off of certain things, and they're still up here. Because now, how could this happen? I don't understand. See, you don't know, because you've never been, you don't have experienced something yet, so you don't know. So we're not able to come together on it. And I think for me, I'm really careful of how I process and what's going on. And I try not to be too hasty in judgment, because you know, like, some people have been vindicated where they were lied on. Like, but we're so fucking diabolical, we've ripped them from everything they have. So like, this world, we love negative, right? So negative shit. So it's like, hey, and I'm not trying to say, I'm not taking away what anyone's going through, but I am a level, like, let me I'm listening to you. I love you. Okay, what do we need to do? But I'm not going to go and charge and cause havoc, you know, like some people do. And that's why I'm real mindful of how I tell people what I'm going through, because I don't want them to, because I know I'm loved and cared for, and I don't want them to become so full of that it goes beyond me, and then it's like a whole nother situation. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
You're so funny.
I don't know. I think you could shoot from the fucking hip. And, you know, we don't have to be in agreement on this, but, you know, how bad would it be if your friends got pissed off on your behalf? I'll tell you, sometimes as a therapist, sometimes I think that one of the things that I offer is I might be the person that models getting upset about something to somebody, because so many people, and I'm not speaking about you, I'm speaking about people at large, right? Like sometimes people just let water go into the bridge over and over and over again until there's, it's almost all river and no bridge anymore. And there's a point where you could be like, where I might feel like I'm modeling for somebody, like, really? You let him say that to you? Really? Where did that guy grow the guts to say that shit to you? Are you fucking kidding me? Right? And it's not because I'm losing my mind over it. I'm going to go home and lose sleep over it. Hopefully, I can seek my own consultation or my own therapy or whatever. But like, it's not because I'm losing my mind, but it's because I might see somebody being victimized in a way that they might be allowing to happen in a way that's not healthy or happy for them.
And I agree with you. I do agree with you. Totally.
So can I get mad about your stuff? Is it okay? Can I freak out a little bit?
If you want to. I mean, I have no stuff, but you can get mad all
I
you
know.
want.
I don't know any, but I'm waiting. I'm going to hear, when I hear it, I'm waiting to fly off the handle. Yeah, I'm on the handle. My wings are out.
I don't know. I guess for me, when it just bringing it all back, I just think that I don't feel I should get mad at someone if they still want to watch the Cosby Show or listen to R. Kelly's music. That's their. So who am I to tell you you're wrong? So it's the other part of it. Is what I mean is do what you think is best.
Sure.
If you want to not watch or listen, that's what you do, right?
Yeah.
But how dare you tell me I'm wrong because I want to enjoy a different world?
Sure. Was Cosby even on a different world? I watch that one all the time, and I don't remember him at all. I think
he just produced it. He just
Denise
created
was on it for
one season.
One season, right? Okay, but he produced it. Okay, and that's why
he created it. So what I'm saying is, so what if I want to watch the Cosby Show and look at Rudy and Bob? But you have people who are so wrapped up that they will attack you. How dare you watch that? And you know what he did? Hey, I do, but I like Felicia Rashad. I like the characters. And it's almost like we're afraid to be honest and say, I empathize, I sympathize, I'm here for you. But I still want to watch the beginning of the show where they're dancing. I still, it's like, and they're afraid to say those things. They're afraid to be like, I feel you. I'm here for you. And I won't watch it in front of you. But I also know I'm not the women that that accused him. Right.
Right.
So, and I don't know what they experienced, but I'm a woman. I understand. Right. But I'm not going to let anyone tell me I cannot watch this because he's sitting in jail.
Sure.
Because don't you think all of that, there's other people. There's like other people. Take him away. I still enjoy those characters. I still adore the woman that his wife and who she is over the years. And what they I understand. I enjoy those things. So let me leave me alone.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the thing, is that it sounds like a real intrusion for you. And when I hear that, I just hear people that are really hurt. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like that's where that's coming from. I mean, you're laughing. Maybe you don't agree with me, but I mean, I think that anybody that's having that kind of a visceral response is coming from a place of really being sad.
You mean like for me saying leave me alone, or the other people?
The other people. I mean, like if somebody's coming at you sight unseen and saying like, I can't believe you're watching Cosby, like I think to you that feels like an attack, and on some level it kind of is, but it also to me just feels like somebody who's really sad and hurt, who's just having a really triggered reaction. We have triggered reactions to stuff like that.
And I take issue when you put your hurt on me if I'm not doing, so if you come into my space, you can't come into my space and tell me what I can and can't do. So
I mean, it's impolite.
It's so it's like, now you want me to be in your sorrow, right?
Well, I don't know that people are thinking it through that much.
You're not inviting me in. You're tugging me in. You're tugging me in. You're dragging me in, and you're not. There's a better way of doing things.
Well, I don't disagree, but like you said, people in emotional situations respond really quickly. I don't think anybody's like, yes, I'm going to get her lean, I'm going to tug her into my sadness, and then we're both going to sit here in How Triggered I Feel by the Cosby Show together. I think people are just like, no, 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 you can't. Like, it's emotional, and I have sympathy for anyone who is hurt enough to do that. That being said, no one's yelled at me about the Cosby Show in a real long time. So
Well, that's just an example. I mean, it's just an
maybe,
example.
yeah. But I mean,
Yeah.
like, I hear you, but I mean, I understand where you're coming from, and I guess maybe as a person who has often found himself having that similar refrain where I was like, no, I mean, you and I even talked about this a week ago, like, no, you cannot come into my fucking space and bleed on me like this. Like, I do not accept that from you, right? Like, believe me, I get it. But one of the things that has helped me, only me, to cope with that is understanding that it's not really about me. It's about how much pain this person is in.
Yes.
And for me, that's like a survival tip or a coping mechanism. Is like, I used to wait tables, which is like super fucking easy work, except it's psychologically, it'll kill you. You know what I mean? Like, I found it to be easy work, but I thought I was going to die every day that I did it because it just wears you down, right? Or at least it did for me. And one of the things that I had to work really hard and didn't master until long after I was away from the restaurant was like, these people are acting out their own shit. It does not have anything to do with me. This person walked in here upset. I just happened to be here.
For me, it's like you can't take on, and I guess for me, it's this. I will never tell someone, leave me the hell alone, but when you're working in service, right, as we do, because you're a service of other people,
sure,
you have to realize that they're walking in with so much stuff that has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Right? But also, the protector in me is this. I'm not going to allow you to take out your shit on me. There's a point. There's a point.
Yeah.
There's a budding of it. Like when someone comes in and I tell my people, you don't have to take it. If they come in here and they're mad about something, you don't have to take that. You come get me. I'll take it.
Right.
And I let them know,
kind of you.
Please, not in here, not today, not with my people.
Mm-hmm.
And usually they're like, they calm down because they recognize, oh, I'm lashing out. Exactly.
Right.
You're not going to feel good bringing someone else down to where your misery is. That's my thing. And I don't believe in bringing anyone down to my misery when it's my misery. You can know about it, but how dare I bring you down to it? And I think I guess my issue with it is this. I guess with social media and the way things are, people attack anyone who doesn't agree with the masses. And you're seeing that a lot in many areas, right? And it's like, how dare you think that way? And it's almost like, let's cancel. You're like, what the hell did I do? What did they do? Well, it's like, stop it. Like, stop it. We don't all have to agree. We all don't have the same experiences. So stop attacking.
Yes. However, there's real psychology at play here with this thing. With social media, there's an enormous problem, which is that the computer takes away the humanity of other people. This is a real thing. And again, I'm not trying to take away your aggravation with this because it is aggravating. But like part of the reason people act this way, part of the reason why people come claws out, and I wish I could tell you that I'm over this and I don't do it, but I do it, is because it doesn't feel like you're talking to a person. It feels like you're talking to an idea or a symbol of something. Do you know what I mean? Like I shouldn't admit this publicly, but I will. I have a friend of a friend who is just like a big Trump guy, right? I get into it with this guy fucking all the time. And he makes me mad, right? But I feel like I can't shut up about it because this is people's lives here, right? This is people's rights. Like it's not tiddlywinks. It's not a percent of tax interest. It's like, little kids in cages, right? And women's access to reproduction, right? So I get mad at this fucking guy, right? And he spouts whatever ignorant shit he does, and I go, right? I'm trying to get better early. I'm trying, but I'm not there yet. And sometimes I go. And the other day he said something that was so nice to me, like unbidden. And I thought, fuck. I'm the pro human rights guy in this conversation, and I got outclassed here, right? Because I didn't feel like I was talking to a dude that I might really like. And as a therapist, I like everybody, really and truly. People walk into my room, I like them. I think all of us have really wonderful things in us and really likable things about us, but I forget it. I forget it on social media. And I'm as trained as anybody in the world to find the good things in people and love them, right? So part of it is that we have this disease that our brains are not caught up to the technology. And so as a result, yeah, you get on and you say, what about Rudy? And somebody goes, what about the victims? Do you know what I mean? And I don't think necessarily either of you is right.
I ignore it. I'm the one who scrolls by. I'm like, okay, that's your opinion. And I scroll by. And I don't push up on anyone who can't do that. It bothers me when people can't do it, right? But I'm like, okay. I'm not fighting that battle. No, you know, I just keep going because I know how entangled it can get, how ridiculous it can get, and how it can be taken the wrong way because you're typing information, you're typing back and forth. They don't know the context. They don't know what you're saying. And all of a sudden now everyone wants to screenshot and save. And now they take a snippet of what you said, not the whole paragraph, a snippet, and now your life is ruined. So I just like, for me, it's like, why? I'm not going to entertain it. You know, I have so many people on my timeline in social media that I do not agree with some of their views or who they support. But I also said to myself, so far, none of them have been disrespectful or ignorant or blatant. So you know what? That's your choice. You know what I mean? Because they know my choice. You know what I mean? They know how I stand, but I'm still there. You know what I mean? It's just the fact that I guess for me, I've learned to walk away. But I'm older to where technology for me is not as wrapped up in my life the way it is for these younger generation right now. You know? So I can separate the two, and I'm not going to get caught up. And I'm a passionate person. I know you're a passionate person, but I'm not going to get caught up in it because I know you have the right to feel that way. Is once you get disrespectful and ugly is when I take issue with you. But until then, who am I to tell you how to think and who to like and what to do? You know what I mean? Until it gets to the point where I'm like, oh, you're being real disrespectful. That's a problem for me. I can't associate myself.
Well, and it's really tough when other people don't obey the social rules that we would take for granted, right? Exactly. And I think that's one that for you is for granted. And for other people, it's like, no, it's not really something I'm signed up for. I'm actually signed up to be angry at people when I disagree with the things that they do. And that, by the way, to put a bow on it, is the codependent deal, right? The codependent deal says, and again, I'm like this. Every credible therapist I know has some of this in them, right? But the codependent deal says, I'm going to treat you exactly the way that I want to be treated, and then that's how you're going to know what to do. And the codependent says, I'm going to take care of you because I know you need it. And that means that when I need it, you're going to take care of me, right? But the rest of the world does not know they're a part of that agreement. And then the codependent is in the position of being horribly heartbroken over and over again by a world that fails to live up to their expectations.
Like, didn't you have the conversation in my head with me? You didn't hear me say it in my brain?
Yeah. Like, why would I be doing this?
What's so funny? I think so many of us do that because I do not believe you can read my mind. I am a firm believer in the fact that you cannot read my mind. I cannot read your mind. So you need to tell me what you need and want. I can figure a lot of things out, but I cannot read your mind. And damn it, you can't read my mind. So I'm not going
as a therapist, I can read your mind. I mean, I have a certain skill. I actually had a coworker once who thought that I had learned in school how to read minds. That was amazing. He thought I was trying to manipulate him.
No.
We were having a fight. He said, I'm not going to let you do your mind reading shit on me. And I said, does this look like I'm able to control you? Like, do I look happy? Like a guy who's getting everything he wants in this situation? Yeah.
No, but for me, it's like I communicate what I want and what I need.
Right.
And I learned a long time ago, you cannot expect someone just to treat you the way you treat them because that may not be how they treat people.
Sure.
They'll love the way you treat them. Thank you. But they don't have to treat you the same way. Just like you know, love language thing. because you like gifts doesn't mean your person gonna want gifts. So stop
Right.
buying fucking gifts all the time, because that doesn't mean they'll buy you a gift. That may not be what they want to do. They may want to just help fix your car or hang some
Right.
blinds. That's how they show you I care about you. So I learned a long time ago, I'm not going to force you to figure out. I'm going to tell you.
Right.
And if I tell you and you don't study what I just said to you, that's different. If I tell you this is the layout.
What advice would you have for those of us who both like to receive gifts and also like to have people repair our cars for us? Because I think I would fall into that group of people where my love language is I like to receive in every way as often as possible. Like, how do you not any of it? Gifts, acts of service, the whole thing. Like any,
all five are your top. All five. So
no, I'm being silly. I'm just being silly with you.
I would tell them, I said, hey, take him to get his oil changed and car washed. At the same time, put a little gift in the little cup holder saying, I was thinking about you. Here's your favorite coffee, Starbucks, whatever. So you got service done. Here's a gift for you in the car with a note saying, I love you so much. You're so amazing. On the cup. And when you get in the car, I'm going to give you a hug.
That's it. You got to write that into, that's your book right there.
That's exhausting, Nick. I'm telling you that right. Exhausting shit. I want to give you an oil change and say, hey, I'll leave you some money in the glove compartment. Go get your own damn coffee.
Yeah, exactly. It's on the fucking dashboard. No. Enjoy your coffee, dummy.
I'm much more sweeter than that. I'm just saying, like, I've had friends of mine who try to push upon their wives or their girl or their boyfriends, like, well, I do all these things for him, but is that what he wants you to do though? You're doing it because you want, that's what you want to do. So that's how you show love. And they probably truly appreciate it. Thank you. I said, but have you taken the time to figure out what they like and what looks like love to them? Because they're accepting it because they know you like doing that. So that's what you like to do, and they're going to take it. We're going to take all the good stuff. Who's going to tell them no? I'm not going to tell you no. Yes, do all that for me. But I'm not going to do the same thing in return. Sorry, it's not what I do. I'm going to do what I do. But that's also unfair because I need to also sometimes do things that make you feel loved in what you recognize. You don't recognize other things because that's not your love language. You don't recognize it. So someone filling your car up with gas and the oil change, you may think it whatever. No, listen, you don't have to do it. Take that shit. Like, it's amazing. I have to do it. Like, golly, anyway.
I feel like I learned a little more about love today.
No, you didn't. You didn't learn anything about love. What did you learn about love, Nick?
I learned not to take it for granted when people perform love language acts that aren't necessarily compatible with my love language. And that in fact, although it's good for each of us to find out how our partner likes to receive, if we notice that our partner is doing something kind for us, it behooves us also to express gratitude for that rather than just to take it for granted.
Huh? You already do this.
No, I'm a terrible, selfish lover. Are you kidding me? No, I'm the worst. This is a turning point for me today.
So you're married, right?
Yes.
So tell your wife, tell her to thank me.
I will do it. Listen, absolutely.
Say, Erlene helped me so much in an hour and 30 minutes. She helped me so much that
I got your oil change, and there's $8 for a Starbucks on the dash. Fucking enjoy.
That's so awful. But you know what? Let me ask you, what do you do with someone who their love language are acts of service, right? So they want you to do things, but yet they won't let you do anything.
Well, then you're fucked, aren't you? I mean, that's really a thing where if they want you to do things, but they won't let you do it, that person, I mean, that's pretty codependent, right? Like, I'm hoping that you will break through my resistance to being cared for in order to care for me, right? And that's a like I don't know if double blind is the right word, but that's a thing that happens.
I think it's a form of control, personally.
Say what?
I think it's a form of control.
Of course. codependency is a form of control, 100%, 100%. And one of the things that we have to give up is giving up controlling our partners when we give up codependency. And that's very fucking hard, right? But it's nobody's job to figure out what I want. I have, like you said earlier, I just have to tell you what I want. And then you can say yes or no, but it's not your job to read my mind unless you're a therapist like me and you have the skill set to be able to read people's minds. Then it is my job to read your mind. But other than that, people without a very specialized therapist level ESP skill can't read minds, you know? Sure. And so we have to learn to take people at their word, and we have to learn to actually tell the truth.
Yes. I agree. This has been good, Nick. I like talking to you.
I like talking to you too. I really appreciate you. I really like talking. Time.
Huh?
I said I really appreciate you spending the time with me.
It's no problem. You seem really interested, so I wanted to give you my undivided time and attention.
I appreciate that.
I'm here for you, Nick. I'm here.
Thank you. It turns out that time spent is one of my love languages, one of my many love languages. So thank you very much for giving me exactly what I needed.
That is mine as well. Quality time is my number one. And then physical touch. And then acts of service, words, and then gifts. But I've realized, Nick, the older that I've gotten, I think I'm all of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, all of them are pretty good, right?
I think I've gotten to the point where if one doesn't happen, I want it. You know what I mean? Like, I've gotten older, and it's like, you know what? I think all of them things are number one.
But that's great, because then that means that they're all effective, right? That's actually like a terrific. That's like an unmysterious place.
With the gift one, I just don't want a gift to just get a gift. I want it to be meaningful. That's my thing with gifts. I want it to be like you really thought about who I am and what you're giving me, not just like, hey, here's a gift card.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, goddamn gift card. I mean, I'll take it. But like,
right. But it doesn't have the same meaning. I mean, yeah, that's the difference between what you give your coworkers at Christmas at the library versus what you give your partner because you love them.
Nothing.
Nothing, not a damn thing.
I deliberately don't give gifts out at work because I don't want anyone to feel as if I'm favoring someone.
Okay.
So I just don't. I try to keep it real neutral.
Back when I employed people, I was very hierarchical. I would make sure that I had like level A, B, C, D gifts, and then I would give them out in a way that would let people know exactly. No, I'm fucking with you. No. I was an executive though, so I gave bonuses. We would just,
That was funny. No.
Thank you.
I think I've held you enough for the evening, Nick.
Well, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
If there's anything else you want to say, say it. Are you good?
I'm good. Thanks for letting me talk about my work.
Hopefully I got enough out of you for your work. I hope I asked you the right questions and you felt like you were informative.
Yeah. And if I wasn't, then, I'm allowed to fuck up and make mistakes too. It happens.
It was wonderful having you, Nick Bognar, a musician. I will be listening to your album when we get off of here.
I hope you enjoy it.
I'm gonna rock out to your album. I do appreciate you coming on and sharing my platform with me and sharing your platform with everyone else and what you're trying to do for people in your career and just being inclusive and being open and being a voice and just being aware of what you can and can't do and your understanding and wanting to improve upon that. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you for doing those things. It's been amazing. I hope everyone reaches out to you and seeks your assistance, seek your help. And we'll talk to you again. Bye.
Hope so.